Will your business sink or swim? I'm going to make a bold statement right now, and it might irritate a lot of people, but I'm going to contend that whether your business sinks or swims is 100% entirely up to you. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, sharing an interesting idiom today, and the idiom, of course, is sink or swim. What does it mean? Where does it come from? How might you be able to apply it to growing and building and supersizing your business? Well, sinking or swimming, of course, comes from the days when they used to throw witches in the water to test whether they were witches or not. Now, here's the rub. When they threw a witch in the water, or a woman suspected of being a witch, because it was pretty much always a woman, sometimes men, but mostly women, if she floated, she was obviously guilty because the devil had helped her to survive. Therefore, she was either hung or burned at the stake. If she sank and died, she was obviously innocent of witchcraft, and therefore, her name was cleared, but she was still dead. Either way, in that situation, whether you sank or swim, you still ended up dead. So you really didn't have a way to succeed. Unlike in our businesses where we do have a way to succeed. We can choose to sink or swim. And the saying and the expression used then throughout history and continually used today, because it's an alliteration, and it's such a visual, easy thing to picture. Whenever we're starting something new, we can either sink or swim. We're either going to succeed or fail. We're going to either succeed or fail, and this generally means on our own efforts or on our own volition. And that's because the truth is, it's always up to us whether we succeed or fail at everything and anything. We choose if we're going to succeed or fail. And I'm not talking about the little bumps along the road. I'm talking about the big thing, the big goals that we're going for. When we set out to create our own business, to build our own business, it is 100% up to us. Will all kinds of things happen? Will things outside of our control happen? Yes, but it is always up to us to choose and decide if we're going to continue to go for our goal, if we're going to continue to build that, grow that business or not. Now, there's a difference between failing and stopping a business or closing a business. And it took me a while to figure out the difference internally and how that felt, because I have chosen to stop doing businesses before. And my braising and my experience told me that that was a failure. And as long as I defined discontinuing a business as a failure, it felt like I was sinking. But when I realized that making a conscious business choice to close a division, to stop doing business with certain individuals, or to move in a different direction, it isn't a failure. It's just a move in a different direction. But that's entirely up to us. Sometimes environmental things and things outside of our control change, and we will decide to stop doing something. We'll close a business, we'll close a location, we'll do something different. But that overall success of what it is that we're trying to do, our big goal, our big business plan, whether that succeeds or not, whether we sink or swim, that is always going to be up to us and how committed we are to making that thing work or succeed. Sink or swim. I actually really like this expression, because I think that over time, I used to feel a lot more like things were black and white and sink or swim, do or die, when I was younger. And as I've gotten older and had more experience, and I think that experience helps us to understand that we can set up the game to win. We can set our businesses and every goal that we go after up as a success if we know that the little failures along the way aren't the end of the world. They aren't the end of the endeavor. They aren't the giving up the goal. They're just a stepping stone on the way to achieving the big thing that we want, the big goal that we want. And when we're growing and building a business, that is a big thing. That is a big deal. That is our way to impact and change the world. It isn't just about, putting food on the table and taking care of our kids and making sure the kids have shoes. It's about creating something more, having an impact on the world. And once we commit to that, I learned this too somewhere along the way of my experience. Once I commit to something and I say I'm going to do it and I set a goal for it, it's impossible for me to sink, because I'm going to figure it out. I know that no matter what happens on the way to that goal, there's going to be a lot of bumps, there's going to be a lot of curves, there's going to be a lot of things outside of my control that try to knock me off track of achieving that goal. But once I've committed to it, it's going to happen. And that's the difference between sinking or swimming. It comes from within us, and we decide and choose what we're going to go for and what is going to derail us, what we are or are not going to let impact us. And I think that's the power that we all have that sometimes we don't realize. And once we do realize that, we're kind of unstoppable. It'd be pretty hard for me to fail. And I've been through some pretty bad times and some pretty amazingly stressful situations where I wanted to give up. But I know that a long time ago, I defined failure as giving up, as quitting. And, you know, as long as I'm living and breathing, I'm moving toward what I want. Therefore, I'm always swimming. I might be treading water sometimes. I might be underwater sometimes, but I know I'm always going to come back up for air, and I'm always going to be able to get my momentum back, get my energy back, and continue swimming toward the goal and the objective that I want, which for me is supersizing and growing my business. That's why I do this segment. So would love to know your stories and your experiences with sinking or swimming. And if you too kind of feel like the more experience you get, the less worried you are about drowning, the more you know that, yeah, stuff's going to happen, but you're going to figure it out. I wonder if other people feel that way too. I'd love to have you share in the comments below. That's it for today. If I can help you in any way, hit me up and just message me. Otherwise, I am starting a challenge on Monday, and I will admit, I changed my mind yesterday about how I'm going to frame that and how I'm going to do it, which is kind of how I do it. It's a live challenge, so up until the day I start and even during the challenge, I can change things. That's the cool thing. So I know it's not going to fail. I'm not going to sink because I'm changing it all along to make sure that people that participate get the absolute best results possible out of that challenge. So if you're interested in participating in a challenge, how to learn how to create your own result-getting challenges, message me for that too, and I'll get you the information and hook you up with the page and when it's going to be and things. And part of that's because I don't know when it's going to be yet. I have to find a time to do it live when I'm not hanging out with my amazing 4-year-old granddaughter. So go out, have an awesome day, start swimming toward what you want, and know that you'll get there. Catch you tomorrow. Bye.